I was today years old when I found out that I'm not the only one that has to watch tennis on mute due to the terrible commentators. The hate coming from the commentators' booth for our players has been so real for so long. And the only way that I can watch tennis is just to turn off the sound entirely. But thanks to this comment, I'm seeing that a lot of other people have done this too. Because let these commentators tell it, we only win because we're athletic. We have terrible games. And even when we're the best in the world, like Coco is, they come out and predict that the 361st player in the world is going to win.
The WTA finals in Saudi Arabia were won by Coco Gauff. Arabia defeating the top two competitors in the world in succession. She is upright, 20 years old, there with the trophy. Moreover, rather than simply rejoicing, she posts, using social media with a message that cuts deep. She wrote about eventually beating the accusations of a terrible season regarding disproving people's claims regarding silencing the roar that had accompanied her for months, and that one post showed something that most individuals are reluctant to discuss about what determines a player's ranking. 3 in the world, a person who created a Grand Slam final and won several titles have to continually defend herself to avoid being labeled a failure?
Never really give our athletes their flowers for how incredible they are. And when you've been to 3 Grand Slam finals by the age of 21, you are exceptional. There are few tennis players in history who've accomplished as much as this young woman has, but you wouldn't know it by listening to some of that commentary. That's why I and so many other people just watch the match and drown out the noise. And I hope Coco and the rest of our players continue to do the same.
Why is a 20-year-old champion dedicating 30 minutes each day, preventing those who criticize her on the internet? The answer isn't pretty. And it's not just about tennis. What Coco Gauff faces every single day displays a pattern in sports media that has been neglected for a long time. Too long. Black female athletes in their youth are subject to a separate standard, harsher criticism, and more inquiries. Intensely and given significantly less grace than anybody else. And when they have the courage to speak up about anything beyond their sport, the retaliation is swift and vicious. This is about how the media handles Coco Gauff, but it's actually about something a lot bigger.
Predicted Coco Gauff's downfall, and she won anyway. The tennis media establishment was so against Coco Gauff that they predicted that she would lose to the 361st player in the world in the semifinals. For context, Coco is ranked number 2 in the world. When have you ever seen anyone predict that the world number 2, a Grand Slam champion, was going to go down to 361 of anything? And before you say that this was some random sports writer making this prediction, it was not. It was the executive editor of Tennis Magazine, Steve Tigner. Tennis Magazine is the biggest tennis publication that there is.
Once you see the double standards, you begin to pay attentively. The query is, why does it continue to occur? Now, let's discuss what the media determined to be Coco's dismal season in 2024. Everywhere, headlines stated that she was struggling, underperforming, in a rut. This is what really took place. She made it to the semi-finals of the Australian Open, made the final of the French Open, won competitions in China, Beijing, and Auckland, put an end to the year ranked number 3 in the world. For the majority of gamers, that's an amazing season. For Coco, it was called a disappointment.
Executive editor of Tennis Magazine was so angry that Coco won that he wrote the nastiest article describing her victory. Remember, this is the same guy that predicted that Coco would lose to the player ranked 361st in the world. He repeatedly described Coco as getting lucky. He called the match off kilter. He called the match scrappy and said that it wasn't a thing of beauty. And he even threw shade on Gauff's mental strength and her strokes, saying that patience and resilience were more important than the beauty of your technique in that match. What? Now it gets even worse than this, but this article is so bad that you would have thought that Steve Tigner is being paid by Coco's opponent to write this crap.
The narrative burst at the US Open when Emma Navarro defeated her with 19 double faults. All of a sudden, anyone desired to discuss. Her serve was damaged. Her self-assurance was broken. She couldn't handle the pressure. One poor day of service turned into the pivotal moment of her year, deleting everything else she completed. Tennis analyst Andy Roddick called it out straight. He said, "Criticism comes faster for Coco than it is beneficial to other players." Coco herself stated it perfectly, the identical outcomes that get. Somehow, other players praised her. Crucified. The exact same performance. Distinct response based on who's gripping the racket.
Rather than say anything good about Coco, who won that second set in a hurry, he just chose to say that the ball was sailing on Sabalenka, as if Coco weren't even on the court. And of course, in the end, he downplayed Gauff's win by saying that even though it was technically an upset, it wasn't even a surprise. Now again, this is the same guy who said that she'd be losing to number 361 in the world because her game was evenly matched. He refuses to say the truth. Coco played exceptionally, and no one could have beaten her on that day.
She's 20 years aged, already a Grand Slam champion already. Rated in the top 3, accomplished. More than 99% of professional tennis players never will. And in some way, that's yet unable to shield her from being labeled a failure following a single competition loss. However, Coco continues to appear. She continues to compete. She continues to prevail. Moreover, each time she does, the individuals who spent months claiming that her profession was crumbling apart and becoming eerily silent. Your wins receive footnotes. Your losses increase headlines. The pattern turns into, once you begin, it is impossible to ignore. Looking for it. When male tennis players have trouble serving or have technological issues, pundits talk. Regarding modifications and mechanics, it's analytical, bordering on empathetic. When Coco faces the same issues, suddenly it's about her mentality, her self-assurance. If she can manage being a champion, the language entirely changes.
Tennis Channel, you need to fire your executive editor, Steve Tigner, because there is no way that he should be insulting about the greatest American champion of her generation. You cannot get upset that pickleball is surpassing tennis when you talk about statistically one of the greatest players ever at her age this way.
Take a look at Carlos Alcaraz. Is covered. He is a young man. He's had UPS and setbacks. He has lost games that he ought to have prevailed. The media deems him a future legend, yet seeking his path, he receives patience and understanding. Coco receives immediate questions about whether she's peaked too early. She's the same age, coping with the same demands, but the grace given to him vanishes when it comes to her. It's not just tennis either. This occurs in all sports. When male sportsmen express themselves on social problems, they're referred to as courageous and principled. When female athletes engage in it, Black women in particular are instructed to remain in their lane. LeBron James begins schools, critiques politics, and receives commended for making use of his position. Coco performs the same thing and receives thousands of many remarks ordering her to stop talking and engage in tennis. The speed of the pylon is what actually demonstrates the bias. Coco is defeated. One game, and in a matter of hours there are thousands of papers analyzing what's wrong with her game, her coaching choices, her state of mind. Other top players may lose 3 consecutive games. They barely get a notice. The examination she faces isn't only intense, it's disproportionate, and everyone pretends not to be aware. Coco disclosed something that most sportsmen won't talk about in public. She dedicates 30 minutes each single day blocking individuals on social media. 30 minutes. That isn't informal. Ignoring or skimming over a few negative comments. That's a significant portion of her day fighting back against a tidal round of persistent harassment. Arriving. The assaults are not limited to tennis. People are drawn to her attractiveness, her character, her family, everything. They doubt her intelligence. They make fun of her voice. They analyze each attire, each interview, each article, searching for anything to be critical of. Moreover, this isn't coming from a few of trolls. It's thousands of accounts, persistent and well-coordinated, waiting for any opportunity to tear her down. She's not alone in this either. Caroline Garcia commented about the same experience. The relentless assault of negativity, the abuse that follows every loss, the mental tiredness from realizing that no matter what you accomplish, there's an army of individuals committed to make you feel worthless. However, this is the problem. That makes things worse for Coco. She's 20 years of age. The majority of those who are figuring out their life, creating errors made in secret, maturing away from millions of eyes. She's doing it under a microscope where each misstep becomes satisfied for those who have never achieved a fraction of what she has. The toll on mental health is real. Athletes are finally starting to talk about it, but the conversation always seems to stop short of addressing who gets targeted the most. A young Black woman. Athletes face a specific kind of brutality that other players just do not have the same level of experience. Moreover, when they mention it, they're accused of playing the victim or being too sensitive. Can't win either way. Coco has never been quiet about issues that matter to her. She's spoken during protests. She's criticized policies in Florida. She's utilized her position to talk about equality and justice. And every single time she does, a chorus of voices tells her the same thing. Stick to tennis. Stay in your lane. Nobody is concerned about your political opinions. When she denounced politics in Florida, the backlash was immediate. Thousands of comments flooded her articles telling her to shut up and play. Conservative media outlets posted headlines wondering why a tennis player thinks her opinion matters. Radio hosts made fun of her for hoping she could inspire change. The message was very obvious. Your job is to entertain us, not challenge us. This isn't new. Serena Williams encountered the years of the same procedure. Each time she stood up about unfairness or unfair treatment, she was labeled tough, hostile, and furious. She was punished for things that male athletes did not. Consequence. She was told to be grateful for what she had and quit whining. The pattern is repeated with each Black female athletes of this generation who refuse to keep quiet. Compare that now. Regarding the treatment of male athletes when people speak out. When a player in the NFL establishes a foundation or remarks on societal issues, he is referred to as a leader and a role model. He is praised by sports networks for using his platform wisely. His activism is celebrated on magazine covers. However, when Coco acts in the same manner, she's going too far. She's acting polarizing. She needs to focus on her